how did Eddie and Felicity get involved with this project to begin with?
So I joined Anthony and Lisa, his producer and working title, got involved. The next thing we had to do was find make this very important defining choice: who was going to play Stephen, who was going to play Jane, and both were equally important, actually. So there were discussions that we have a generation of great good young British actors that you could think, well, maybe him, maybe her. But Eddie was the first person I actually met in person. He has a nice physical resemblance to Stephen Hawking as a young man. When I met him, he was really passionate about doing this. He also drank a lot of beer because he was scared. And
so he was drunk?
Somewhat.
Drunk is not really a somewhat equation.
Well, he was on the way.
All right.
He drank 4 pints of beer. English pints, which are bigger than American
He was
pints. He can hold his beer quite well. But I think
you're going to resist this, aren't you?
I'm trying not to make a headline. Eddie Redmayne, drunk
I
on
got
set.
Stephen Hawking drunk.
Yeah. Stephen's no stranger to that too, by the way. He was nervous in a very interesting way. He was nervous because he realised what it would mean to prepare for this and what that would entail. And we got on a personal level very well, and we sort of made common cause at that point. And I think quickly other people involved saw that he was going to be an interesting choice.
So Eddie got on board before Felicity?
Indeed, yeah.
And how did Felicity join the team?
She was on our shortlist forever, and I was rooting for her. It was a very short shortlist, and there was a major Hollywood player who was trying to cast her in something at the same time, and he was talking to her on one cell phone, and we were talking on the other cell phone. We were both trying to charm her, and she was just overwhelmed, and it was a very tough time for her. But she did come finally to an audition, and Eddie came in and read opposite her, and I wasn't there, but when I saw the footage, it was evident that this was a marriage made in the cosmos.
To your credit, James, of course, but there's tremendous chemistry there. But it nicely builds, which I find very graceful. I think sometimes for some people who aren't familiar with sort of certain English mannerisms, and perhaps even that time, you sort of expect, like, oh, they jump in bed within 5 minutes. But this is a courtship. This takes time.
It's very old-fashioned.
It actually draws itself out to the point when the marriage occurs, you understand the love.
I was really drawn to that because it feels like there's so much instant gratification in our lives, and there's so much sort of almost pornography is one click away on your computer, and then to have this relationship that has such sort of subtleties in its seduction and in the courtship felt really interesting in the modern age. It's a generation that's older than mine. It's a post-war generation in England with a very different set of moral values. And that was really interesting. It was like dealing with another sort of tribe of people in a way. And I found that really interesting, the way in which the slowness of it and the delicacy of the courtship felt very unusual in the 21st century.
Philip Larkin, the famous English poet, said that sexual intercourse was invented in 1963 in England, sometimes just before the Beatles' first LP.